My dad married Lucy when I was 8. My dad and Lucy met at a support group for grieving widows and widowers, and they were dating almost immediately after meeting, which was 6 months after my mom died and 11 months after Lucy's first husband died. Lucy has a daughter, Macy, who was 7 when her mom married my dad. Macy and I never got along. We were toxic together. Pretty sure the reason is we were two grieving kids who lost a parent, struggling with the loss of said parent, and our own surviving parent marries the others, and suddenly the step-parent is being over-pushy and calling us their kid, and we're not getting what we need from our actual parent. Lucy especially was bad. She called me her daughter before they were officially married, and she told me years ago that she was saving her engagement ring from her first marriage for me, which was a family heirloom her parents gave to her first husband. I told her then I didn't want it, and she ignored me. She even ignored her own parents, saying they wanted Macy to have it and not me. She was offended they would treat me as less of a grandkid. But it's true. They are not my grandparents, and I am not their granddaughter. Now I'm 17 and Macy is 16, and I don't know how exactly it all happened. But Macy was told by Lucy that the engagement ring from the marriage to Macy's dad was being saved for me, as her oldest daughter, and Macy lost it. She yelled and screamed at her mom that she is her daughter, not me, that her dad proposed to her with the ring, not mine, and if anyone should get it next, it should be her. I was yelled at next. At the time, I was oblivious to the fact she had yelled at her mom, but Macy called me a thief, said she hated me, said I should have died with my mom instead of stealing hers and stealing a memory of her parents' marriage, and that I was a selfish bee. I couldn't believe Lucy told her own daughter she was giving me her ring, after I said I wouldn't want it. So then I yelled at Lucy. I told her I didn't want her stupid engagement ring, that it was meaningless to me, that she would never be my mom, and if she thought the ring would do anything but go to waste if saved for me, then she was mistaken. I told her to give it to her own daughter and stop being such an uncaring mom to her. My dad told me about the stuff Macy said to Lucy after I had stormed off. He told me I piled on Lucy and it wasn't right. He asked me why I had been so angry about the ring, and I told him nobody but Lucy wants me to have it, and I'm seen as selfish when I don't want the damn thing, and told her as much. He said I owed Lucy an apology, and to give her, as my mom, a chance because he's tired of us being a fractured family. He also told me I was a real a-hole to Lucy. I told him that's what you get when two fractured grieving families get forced on each other. Am I the a-hole? Ironic that this ring is the one thing you and Macy can finally agree on. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, not the a-hole. Not the a-hole, but your father and Lucy are. I'm really sorry for you and Macy. I cannot imagine what goes through Lucy's mind when she wants to give the ring for you instead of Macy, as it belongs to her father's legacy. You have the right to have the memory of your mom, and Macy has the right of the memory of her father. Your step-parents shouldn't be forcing themselves in a situation where they want to completely replace the original parent. I think you should seek therapy as a family. Not the a-hole. It was the ring from Macy's mom and dad. What is wrong with this woman to try to force it on you? My guess is she doesn't want to see the ring from your mom and dad, which is the ring that should be yours. I think a bit of background may be required for this one. I, 60 female, have 2 sons and a daughter. The people in question here are Dave, 35, and his wife Liz, 29. Basically, I have a relationship with Dave, but none at all with Liz. Dave was married before and has 2 children, 11 male and 9 female, with his ex-wife, Casey. Casey unexpectedly died in January 2020, about 2 weeks before Dave and Liz's wedding. Liz and I had a falling out over the children attending the wedding. They said they did not want to attend, and Liz demanded they be in the wedding despite the fact they had just lost their mother and could have stayed at Casey's parents that day. Dave gave in to Liz's demand, and when the kids attended and, as Liz says, ruined the wedding when they refused to walk down the aisle and then cried at the reception, I defended my grandchildren's behavior because they were grieving, and Liz was very angry that I did not try harder at the wedding to get them to behave. They were in my care for the day. After the wedding, Casey's parents and my husband and I started taking our grandchildren more often because they did not want to be at Dave and Liz's house. My son works long hours, so they would mostly have to be with Liz. Liz does not like that we pick our grandkids up when they call us, and maybe we are undermining her parenting, but she does often fail to cook dinner, take them to therapy, or after-school activities. She's now expecting a baby in November and will be having a baby shower in a few weeks. I was not invited, but have not told any of my extended family about the issue with Liz, or the fact that I was not attending, because I feel like my family is also Dave's family and can form their own opinions. Recently, word got out that I would not be there. I'm not sure how, and family started to question. The reason got out there, and my family is now very angry with both Dave and Liz. They are refusing to attend the baby shower, and I guess the guest list went from over 60 to under 20. Liz and family have decided they are fine with this, because they do not have to pay for as many guests. But now Liz has called my daughter and demanded that we, daughter and I, host a shower for her, and she might stop by if she is feeling up to it. But will come to pick up the gifts after the shower to show the family that we are all on good terms. Not actually true. I might be the a-hole because we declined, and now that family know we are estranged, I'm sort of happy that I don't have to pretend to like her anymore. Edit. I want to clarify that I do not think my son is right in any of this. He has allowed a lot of poor behavior on the part of his wife, but he was not involved in the shower issue since she did not tell him I was not invited, and he was also not aware that she approached my daughter to host a separate shower. Additionally, my son is not a great dad, and I know that, but I was not involved in his family planning. When he had the kids with Casey, she stayed home and he went to work. He was the typical old school dad who came home to dinner on the table, kissed the kids goodnight, and Casey put them to bed. This worked for a while, and when Casey was not happy anymore, she filed for divorce. When they settled custody, they were both happy. Casey worked part-time, Dave supported her and the kids, and got them every other weekend and once a week for dinner. When Casey died suddenly, I think Dave was at a loss and turned to Liz to basically take over where Casey left off. I tried on many occasions to explain that he needed to be the parent and protect his kids, and my advice was ignored or Liz got her way. The wedding made me feel very angry, and when she punished them for ruining the wedding, I had it out with her, and that is why we do not have contact. Not the a-hole. Your daughter-in-law sounds super entitled. Who the heck demands a baby shower from anyone? Yikes. Not the a-hole. And frankly, your son is no peach either, the way he treats those kids. Not the a-hole. She's toxic, and she's going to withhold the grandchild something mighty. Your grandchildren need a safe space, especially as she and your son welcome what will certainly become the high-revered baby favorite child. They will feel totally abandoned and unwanted, and she will probably demand all the attention beyond the infant and get angry that the youngest is not the priority for everyone. I, 38 female, am a single mom to my son, Leo, 16 male. Ever since he was old enough, around 10 or so, he would make his own lunch or I'd give him money to buy. This school year, however, he told me that he had a new friend, Sam, whose mom, Linda, often made lunch for the group. I thought this was very sweet and reminded him to thank her when he saw her. Leo spends a lot of time at Sam's house. Sam's family has a pool. Linda is always cooking great snacks or meals, etc. I never thought much of it. Linda is a super sweet woman. She's just one of those people with a kind, giving spirit. Sam's also a great kid. When he's over at our place, he's always polite and offering to help. I've seen him around his parents at events. He talks to them with respect. I don't think he's perfect by any means, but it's clear his family has a respectful dynamic that works for them. I admit, I am not one of those moms who cook like Linda. I will make dinner, obviously, but it's usually pasta or chicken. Lately, I've been buying those meal prep boxes since they're so easy. When Leo's had friends over in the past, I've thrown some frozen appetizers in the oven or ordered a couple of pizzas. He's never seemed to care before. There have been a few times since becoming friends with Sam where he's asked me to cook something for his friends, and sometimes I will, but if I say no, I hear Linda would. I've shut that down, or I thought I did. On Saturday, Leah told me he was having some friends over and asked if I could bake cookies. I said we had a couple packages of Oreos in the cabinets. Leo started on that his friends were going to want chocolate chip cookies. I pointed out that we live right around the corner from a bodega. He can either go grab a package or make some cookies himself. Leo then asked what was for dinner, and I said I would order pizza. He asked why I couldn't cook his friend something. I said I had a long work week and I'm tired. He got an attitude and called me lazy, saying that Linda works too, and she manages to make the family what they want. I told him once again, I'm not Linda, and I won't pretend to be. The next part is where I may have screwed up. I asked if Sam ever spoke to Linda the way he just did me. Leo admitted no. I said yeah, because Sam respects his mom and appreciates everything she does for him. Clearly, Leo isn't appreciative. Leo walked out of the room, and his friends didn't end up coming over. His choice. He hasn't said anything to me since. I was venting about this to a friend, and she said I was absolutely wrong for comparing Leo and Sam like that. She says I got on Leo's level and made him feel bad. Am I the a-hole? Edit. I don't think I explained myself well on our diet at home. I do not only feed my son processed food, chicken or pasta. The latter two were just examples to show that I don't make intricate meals. We eat a variety of things, most of it fresh. It's just not intricate meals like his friend's mom makes. It is when his friends come over that I'm ordering a pizza or serving frozen food, as there's a lot of them. It's cheaper and easier. Not the a-hole. Based on details provided, you are a great mom. Comparing individuals isn't ideal, and your 16-year-old son has now hopefully learned this lesson. You rock. Not the a-hole, but kids this age compare themselves a lot to their peers. That's just how teenagers are. He was comparing the food at Linda's place to his own and wished for more home-cooked food to show off to his friends that his mom is also cool like Sam's mom. He's not old enough to weigh the pros and cons and to be happy with how good he already has it. You, on the other hand, are a mature adult person who knows they have a temperamental teenager. You should have used some tact to address the issue. Not calling you an a-hole. I can understand how hard it can be being a single mother, but the responsibility falls on you to address such problems in a healthy way. That being said, you need to teach your son to be a little grateful. He's clearly acting a little entitled. Is this real? Because when I was 16, pizza and Oreos sounds awesome. We wanted as much independence from our parents as possible, not expecting beef Wellington and freshly baked cookies. I, male 31, and my wife, female 30, have 2 kids, male 5, the other female 2. I also have 2 siblings, an older brother, male 35, and a younger, male 29. Me and my older brother both have kids. My younger has none, and has bounced from fling to fling. However, in 2020, before the virus hit, he met this girl, female 23. We'll call her Amber, fake name. From day one, he was obsessed with her. They started dating, and when we thought we'd only meet her once, then never again, she stayed coming round. We were all happy to see my brother get serious about someone, even if they were a bit younger than him. However, as Amber started spending more time around our family, collectively, we all noticed certain things she did we didn't like. For just a couple of examples, she would move something in whosever house she was in and say, "This looks better like this, so I moved it for you." Or she would get into people's stuff and say, "We're family now, so we can share," such as when she used my sister-in-law's lotions and makeup without asking. But this was the thing that made us all dislike her. She would constantly talk proudly about how she turned my, quote, "spineless duck boy baby brother into a man." Okay, unnecessary, but he was a player before, so I get the joke. But then she added, "I'll do what your mom couldn't and teach him to be a gentleman." And yes, she really has said that on more than one occasion. We've all mentioned these things to my brother, but he brushes it off and says, "I love her, dude, what can I do?" And well, he proposed to her at the beginning of 2022. And no, she hasn't changed her antics since 2020. Anyway, Amber came over with my brother for my wife's birthday party. Of course, my kids were there too. Amber, in front of a house full of mine and my wife's family, she says, "Oh, it's my favorite niece and nephew," before picking up my daughter. She added, "Am I your favorite auntie?" in a baby voice, as if she were saying it to my daughter. I walked over and took my daughter out of her hands and said in a calm but stern tone, "You're not their aunt, so please don't refer to yourself as their aunt." She seemed taken aback and immediately got defensive, saying, "I'm marrying your brother, so I will be their aunt by marriage." I just shrugged and calmly responded that I didn't care if they got married. She could be Mrs. Amber or Amber, but she was not their aunt. A few people heard and pretended not to, but Amber was upset and left, and my brother came in asking what happened. After I told him, he said I was a jerk and took off after Amber. My brother called me that night saying I needed to apologize and take back what I said, but I refused to. My kids hardly know or spend time with her, and she's not very well liked amongst our family. So am I the a-hole? You're the a-hole. You can dislike her and keep her away from your kids all you want, but she will in fact be their aunt. Everyone sucks here. I think you all suck. The way you handled it was inappropriate. She will be your family by marriage. Therefore, she will be their aunt by marriage. Also, Amber sucks. She needs to know what her place is. The statement she made about your mother and brother is a big no-go. But you talked to your brother, not to Amber. I'm not saying it would have changed anything, but perhaps it would have. Not the a-hole. You don't have to consider her family. Sometimes even blood doesn't mean much. It's really your call. I, female 22, come from a broken home. To make a long story short, I didn't have a relationship with my dad. When I was around 18, my mom got married to my stepdad. I don't have what I'd say is a close relationship with him, but he's a decent guy and he makes my mom happy. He has a daughter, Jess, female 28. Me and Jess never really spent much time together. She lives quite far away. I know she doesn't have a close relationship with her dad, and her parents split up when she was young too. For Christmas and birthdays, my stepdad will make the drive over to Jess's place and stay in a hotel for a few nights. My stepdad planned on visiting Jess in a couple of weeks, as it will be her son's 4th birthday. This was planned well in advance, according to my stepdad. He and Jess got into a very heated argument over the phone the other night because, apparently, Jess changed her mind and is now deciding to throw a big party for her son. Her mom is going to be there for the majority of the time and doesn't want to see him. So now, Jess only wants him to visit at very specific times to make her mom happy, which he wasn't on board with. My stepdad got super mad and told Jess she can forget about him coming to visit her if she and his ex can't be adults about it. He already booked the time off work, so my stepdad planned a small trip with my mom instead. Yesterday, Jess messaged me on WhatsApp. She basically vented to me out of nowhere about what an a-hole her dad is, and explained that she's just trying to keep both her mom and dad happy. All of the stuff I've heard about their conflict was a bunch of he said, she said on both sides. I did feel a bit bad for Jess, but she asked me to try to persuade him into still visiting her and tell him how sad she is, as she thinks he'll listen if more people tell him he's being unreasonable. I didn't think this was fair to ask. I apologized to her and told her I understand she's in a difficult spot family-wise, but it's not my job to get involved. I've never been particularly close with her or her dad. Jess got upset and told me she's not asking for much. She just wants to see her dad and get him to see his grandbaby and needs someone to advocate for her. I left her on red for a couple of hours. I did intend to respond, but wasn't sure what to say yet. But then she sent me another couple messages telling me to just forget it and that I wouldn't understand anyway. Today, Jess phoned me and was crying. She vented to me again and just went on about how she needs my help persuading her dad. I tried my best to be patient with her whilst telling her no, and that this is something they need to work out amongst themselves. She was absolutely hysterical and refusing to listen to me. I couldn't take it anymore and just told her that this is her and her dad's problem and hung up the phone. She hasn't tried to contact me again yet. I just want to know if I'm being an a-hole as I feel terrible. Not the a-hole. Jess has let her mom dictate terms. She apparently wants other people to fight her battles, which are in reality her mom's. She'd feel better if she told mom no. Not the a-hole. Talk to your stepdad. Let him know what Jess is saying. Not to persuade him, but just let him know. Then block her. This has nothing at all to do with you. But you do say he's a pretty nice guy and makes your mom happy. So just give him the heads up on what his daughter is doing and let him know that you're going to block her for the time being since you don't want to be involved. Not the a-hole. Jess should invite who she wants, and if her mom can't handle her ex being there, that's her problem. Jess should not have uninvited her father from activities that he'd already made arrangements to attend. You should not have been put in the middle of Jess's drama that she created.